of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Some people think this is not very happy occasion. But that is a false sentiment. Because Acharya is like the sun. He comes and he illuminates the world with transcendental knowledge. This material world means, in Kali Yuga especially, ignorance, tamas, andam, tamaham pravachanti. What is that verse? Ignorance means, what is the hallmark of ignorance? To know nothing beyond the body. I think that so ignorance means suffering, because the body by its nature, it matures, it gets old, it deteriorates, and then it comes to an end. So by constitution, the material life cannot be with ananda, cannot be blissful, because there may be some temporary happiness, but then the background is that as the time and tide wait for no man. Time means that the body is expiring. It is it has like limited duration. It cannot live beyond a certain point. So if we only know the body, then there cannot be any real happiness. Whatever happiness one may have, one thinks, oh, this happiness will end, so what is the use? So they try for more happiness, but they're frustrated and end in drugs and artificially to try squeeze more happiness out of something which is dead. The body is made of chemicals. You cannot be satisfied. So the spiritual masters, the Acharya, he spreads the light of the Bhagavata. He spreads the truth that we are not the body. So simply theory, that will not help much. The Lord Himself, the spiritual master, the Acharya, teaches that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Mata parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. There is no truth superior to me, Krishna says to Arjuna. Arjuna is, at that stage, is his disciple. Friend in the beginning, but later Krishna, Arjuna accepted the position of disciple. So Krishna explains to him that the battlefield and the whole world are all a manifestation of his external energy. internal energy is spiritual. But most of the living beings in the world, the animals and the trees and the plants, very, very rarely any individual among them has any spiritual consciousness. Mostly they're sometimes happy, sometimes suffering, mostly suffering. The human form of life means that he has the capacity to understand that he is not the body. Within the body, he is seated. It's like you're driving your car, you're seated in the car. You're not the car. The ignorance means when a car hits your car, in India I don't know, in the West a lot more, maybe, I don't know, more or less there's anger, at least there are more cars. So when two cars collide, sometimes the driver of one car jumps out and says, "You hit me! You hit me!" But you didn't hit you. You are there. He hit the car. You are driving the car. You are seated in the car. And similarly, we are misidentifying ourselves with the body, at least at birth. And unfortunately, the majority never rise above that level of understanding. They always think that they are the car. It is not very good, not becoming. So how does one learn about the soul, about the Atma? They not teach it in the schools because the education department is under the government, and the government, whether a democracy or a dictatorship, it is of this world. It is still some ignorance are disposing of firecrackers. So how does one learn this? How does one learn the truth of our existence? It is only by grace of Krishna and the mercy of his devotee, his pure devotee, who comes in this world and spreads this knowledge. So such a devotee who is empowered to spread this spiritual knowledge all over the world, he is Acharya. Empowered. So Prabhupada, as he came to be known, at first he used to be called Swamiji by the young followers in New York and New York, basically. That's where the first kirtan like this was performed, in the West, in New York. And that was the beginning of the movement. Because the kirtan has the power to awaken the spiritual consciousness, and some young people, we may think ordinary people, but actually Prabhupada said that they have taken birth especially to help him to begin the movement in the West first, and then spread all over the world. So the beginning was kirtan. philosophy always follow the kirtan. First is kirtan. There are no philosophers in the world, practically. In Kali Yuga, there are no philosophers. So even those who eventually became philosophers, devotee means those who are actual devotees of Krishna. They are not sentimentalists. They understand philosophy, but they had to learn it. So formerly in India, one could learn from one's elders, father, grandfather, uncles. These are called acharya families, but that no longer exists. So it seems by Krishna's arrangement, the whole world is attracted to Western ways, to even still in India, so many people